Hey folks, I thought I'd make me one of them there fire pistons, and I watched one of them videos, told you how to make one. They said to use 1/2-inch copper tubing, so I found me a piece of 1/2-inch copper tubing, and it was just leaning up against the wall back here, and so I cut a piece of pipe off of it, and then I went to the store and bought me one of them there 1/2-inch dowel rods. The there 1/2-inch dowel rod, and then I had to buy me some rubber O-rings, and I had to buy me one of them there copper tubing caps. So I also had to have a handle of some sort to put on my dowel rod to push it down inside there. So anyway, what I done is I went and cut off me a 5-inch piece of this copper tubing, and I soldered a cap on it. And well, I tried it, and I tried it, and I tried it, and it didn't work. See, I took one of them there dowel rods and I carved a little groove in the end of it so that that O-ring would fit on there, because when you put that O-ring on there, it won't fit inside that copper tubing. So you got to grind it out a little bit so that that O-ring will fit inside there. Okay, so what I done, and I can't find the old one, is I put my groove back here, and it didn't work. I couldn't figure out why. Now, I hollowed it out like I was supposed to, and I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't work. Well, I don't know if all y'all have ever done anything with a compressor, air compressor, but if you was to grab hold of that copper pipe that comes out of the compressor and goes into the tank, you would find out it's hot. Okay? And that's called the heat of compression. Well, I tried to get my 5-inch tube to work, and it wouldn't work. And so I adjusted my O-ring closer to the end. And then I had 2 grooves in there. So I threw another O-ring on there, and that didn't work either. So I decided that I wasn't getting enough compression with the pipe that I had. So what I done is I cut off a 6-inch piece of tubing, and I tried to solder a cap on it, and for some reason my flux was no good, and try as I might, it wouldn't solder. So I ended up using JB Weld to put that together, and it's working just fine with that JB Weld. I should have done that the first time. Anyway, I had to make a longer piece of shaft or ramrod, and I made sure that the O-ring was down there a good 1/4 of an inch away from the end, just a 1/4 of an inch. And then I hollered out the end of it like I was supposed to. Okay? So, then I took me some char cloth. I had made some char cloth, and I think if you've watched my channel, you know that I know how to make char cloth. So I went ahead and tucked that char cloth in the end of that. And I put some Vaseline on there so that it would slide. And it slides right in there now. Okay, so now the thing about this thing is you got to do it fast. You got to do it real fast, and it didn't catch, so we'll try it again. It didn't catch again, so I'm doing something wrong here. Still no catch. Well, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Oh, I lost my ember. Anyway, there it did catch. It was glowing there. Anyway, after about 18 tries with the old one, I couldn't get it to catch. So after just 2 tries with this new one, it caught right on. So I'm going to reload this with a new char cloth. And I'm going to take that and shove her down in there just as hard and as fast as I can shove it in there. Nothing. There it goes. See it glowing there? So it took 2 tries. So you got to be able to get that compression. That's what you got to have, is that compression. And you got to do it just as fast as you can do it and as hard as you can push it in there. So, how did I make this thing? Well, like I said, I have a 1/2 inch piece of pipe, and I put a cap on it, and it's 6 inches long. All right. Now I made my ramrod just about 1/4 of an inch longer than that pipe, because I didn't want it to bottom all the way out. All right. I wanted to be able to push it down there and it wouldn't touch the copper, because I'm using this ceramic knob, which ain't no big thing. I happen to have a whole bunch of these, and that rod is threaded up inside there nice and tight. So what I done is I drilled a hole in the end of my ramrod, and I screwed that in there, and it's just slightly smaller than the diameter of this rod, so the threads would catch, but the rod wouldn't cause it to stop. And I screwed that in there as tight as I could tighten it in there, and it won't come undone. So it works perfectly. So now I've got this here fire piston that I can use. It's gone out, but I've got this fire piston that I can use, and it's a great little toy to play with, but you got to make sure that you have a good seal. You got to have a good seal, or it ain't going to work. So anyway, there's my fire piston, and you seen it did actually work. So anyway, just make sure that you got enough ramrod in there and you got enough pipe. My original one was only 5 inches long, so I wasn't getting near enough compression, and that's the problem. It's the compression that heats up and causes that to burn. So yeah, it's called the heat of compression. All right. Anyway, there you have it, a fire piston, and it works. And it may not work every time, but then again, I got to practice up, because that's only the 3rd time I've ever tried it, and it takes a little time. You got to ram that thing home just as hard as you can ram it and as fast as you can ram it in order to make it work. So anyway, I hope you liked this little video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.